Hey, what up, guys? Jumping in here on the Jump ESPN. Wanted to rack up this conversation, this talk they are going to here with Mr. Kendrick Perkins. Then I'm Saad Mashad. We'll be going over here with LeBron James and the Lakers and other NBA news about winning the championship, title favorites, let alone legacy. So, quick conversation and
Let's
topic.
move
Want to jump
on
in and just
to
give my
the
thoughts.
big man in the middle in Philadelphia, Joel Embiid. He's not just complaining about other people getting sick, he's also talking about his role in the Sixers offense. This is what he said. Take a listen.
I know what I'm capable of, and I know what my teammates think of me. I know I'm capable of carrying the team, and so it's all about me being assertive. If I feel like I'm not getting the ball, I just gotta, talk to them and, do what I have to do. Just gotta take matters into my own hands.
Perk, you were hot on this yesterday. You wanted to talk about it. Here's your platform. What did you make of what Embiid said?
Well, listen, what's known don't need to be explained. We all know that Joel Embiid is a generational talent, and we all know that the offense needs to go through him. But this is a conversation that needs to be held behind closed doors. The world don't need to know this. You know, Tobias Harris have come out publicly and said that they have been dealing with chemistry issues. This is something that you deal with internal. This is something that you deal with internal.
The 76ers need to let go of their head coach, Brett Brown. I think they're going to lose in the first round, probably against the Boston Celtics. Elton Brand as the GM, he did great his first season, or not his first season, the first season with the Philadelphia 76ers as GM, brought in Jimmy Butler. It was a good move. It really hindered the process to where it was quickening, the 76ers, because this was Ben Simmons' second season. It is what it is, but now since you have Jimmy Butler leave, you put more pressure back into Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons to make the conference finals. And now with Jimmy Butler leaving, going to Miami, the 76ers are probably going to lose in the first round. You don't have the right roster players together with them, and we're really going to have to see a retool. I think they need to let go of Brett Brown. I think they really have to talk to Ben Simmons, put him at the 3, and then either trade or sign a DJ Augustine or Ricky Rubio as your starting point guard. With Ben Simmons, with the balls in his hands, he's great on the fast break, because Ben Simmons, if he's up and running, he's 6'10". He's got a pretty good handle, nothing crazy when it comes to it, but it's scary on the fast break, which is good. But the Sixers, whenever they bring up the ball with Ben Simmons, he's very lackadaisical. He reminds me of Lonzo Ball back into, I think it was 2018 or 2019, whenever he was on the Lakers. He had the height because Lonzo Ball was 6'6". He was tall as a point guard, but very nonchalant, mellow. He wasn't consistently aggressive at all, and that's what Ben Simmons needs to do. I don't see a motor on him. I don't see a fire or desire. I don't see any passion, any killer mentality. That's a hindering process, because Ben Simmons is your core player and your point guard to go with. That's a problem, at least for me. I think they need to move Ben Simmons to the 3. They should really focus on him more on scoring. He needs to drive in more. He needs to be more unpredictable, because Ben Simmons' game is very predictable, let alone you can just back away and he's not going to shoot. If he does shoot, it's not going to be consistent to make it as well. But if that's the case, they still need to work Joel Embiid more in the block. They need to feed him more. They push him out too much to the 3s as well as out on the perimeter. I'm cool with that from time to time, especially on a pick and pop, but they got to bring it down back in the post with Joel Embiid. There's not a lot of big centers out here in this game, in this day and age. You can dominate in the paint, let alone get foul calls.
But at the same time, they have other pieces around him. Ben Simmons, he could get going on the low block and then driving to the paint. Tobias Harris, who has been playing exceptional basketball this year, averaging just under 20 points and shooting around 47%.
Man, I don't know why Elton Brand paid Tobias Harris $30 million a year, and this is for 5 seasons, let alone Al Horford's over $100 million contract
You got
for 4
Al
years.
Horford in the
Crazy.
All-Star, who was a former All-Star, who could also put the ball in the basket, and the kid Richardson. So my thing is, what if the offense, what if it's not your night, Joel? What if it's somebody else's night? then you're going to have to find another way to be assertive and affect the game in other areas. And my thing is that here it is, this is a conversation that needs to be held with Brett Brown. This is not nothing publicly. We all already know this. The ball is going to go through you first. But what can you do outside of that? And keep that in-house, brother. Keep that in-house.
Yeah, with Joel Embiid, he's immature. I mean, we've seen him with Twitter and social media. But that's his personality, kind of like a Shaquille O'Neal. But Shaq was dominant, man, and he took advantage whenever he was in the league. Joel Embiid, he could have the potential to probably be, legacy-wise, probably like a third of like Akeem. He does have the body frame, let alone the craftiness and style. Joel Embiid just needs to get more experience coming to the playoffs. I mean, hey, listen, the 76ers, ever since with the duo of Embiid and Ben Simmons, they've been to the second round both times, let alone they reached Game 7. So they're in a great direction. Even if they may lose in the first round this season, they just need to retool the team, get back to the foundation of European players, like they did have Ilyasova, Marco Bellinelli back in 2018. These cats who know how to play the right brand of basketball, like from overseas, who can be able to be shooters that Ben Simmons can kick out to. And that's the thing whenever you're in the Philadelphia, when they're playing at home with the fans, they liken to whenever they're hitting a bunch of threes, kicking it out, the crowd gets electric and they get that. That's what their style is. That's what they're known for. The Elton brand didn't bring a team together that fits that style. Let alone they spent all that money on Al Horford and Tobias Harris contracts, so they're pretty much stuck with those two unless they can trade them off in the offseason or a year or two from now. They need to get back to 3-and-D players to play off Ben Simmons and let alone feed Joel Embiid in the post. They need a new coach when it comes to it. And their team does not fit as well. There's no chemistry when it comes to them. I feel like some of those guys don't even care or like each other. And it just doesn't scream to me championship contender. They have the potential for their young core foundation, but you need the coaching and role players and pieces alongside it to make it the perfect formula.
Well, I can just speak to the Joel Embiid I saw last year in the postseason. I covered the Sixers' run through the first 2 rounds, and they were 4 bounces on the rim away from being in overtime at a Game 7 with the chance to play in the conference finals. He was as dominant as any player in the Brooklyn series. He was as dominant as any player in the Toronto series. That includes Kawhi Leonard. The problem with him then was his body wasn't right. And so if he's used these 4 months to get his body right and he's taking care of his house, perhaps this is where this extra gusto is coming from, that he's like, oh, I've really put myself in a place to give my very best effort, and I want the team to support that. But again, I agree with Perk here. The inner workings of chemistry in a locker room, especially for a team that has had those issues pop up time and time again these last several years, it seems to be he's throwing some gasoline on the fire, which is kind of unnecessary in this situation.
I'm a big fan of reading between the lines, and I'll just say this real quickly. Earlier this season, when they asked Embiid was the problem with the play calling, he said, no, the play calling is fine. To me, that's a hint that my teammates aren't doing a good enough job of executing and get me the ball. So that's something to keep an eye on as we follow the Sixers down in Orlando.
Well, the Sixers right now with their offense, again, it's very stagnant, very predictable. Listen, whenever they're on the half-court set, Ben Simmons bring up the ball, which he's usually, bringing it up very slowly. You can either feed Embiid in the post. You have Simmons. Once in a blue moon, he'll go and drive and kick it out, or not kick it out, but he'll go up to the rim. Ben Simmons usually kicks it out to, a spot-up shooter when it comes to it. So usually those are the 3 different options you see. And then you have a Tobias Harris who likes to play more isolated when he gets the chance to pick up some, he'll hit you for midi jumpers. And then, of course, when he's off the ball, he'll hit it from like corner threes and such like that. But, I mean, the 76ers, you know what they're going to do. You know what they're capable of. But with the Sixers, they have so much potential and style play and coaching to where they can be able to elevate their team another 20-25%. They don't realize it yet, but that's when you just need the right coach in there, let alone putting the players in the right roles.
For the rest of the season. With JR on the roster, the Lakers now have 7 players with at least 10 years experience. And entering the hiatus, they were the 3rd oldest team in the league. Dave, is there added urgency for them to win a title this year right now in Orlando?
Well, not with the J.R. Smith signing. there's always an urgency for LeBron James, not for the Lakers franchise. And that's pretty much the root of what I'm talking about here. Because LeBron's 17th season, he only has 3 championships. He needs to get his 4th, and this is the right time period. You do have the Warriors who are hurt and not in the picture, let alone the Brooklyn Nets. So if the Lakers don't win this season, I don't think they'll get any star free agents that want to join. I don't think they'll be able to make any, trades that can be able to make anything, happen to where they can be over the Warriors or the Clippers when it comes to it. So the Lakers are very in a do or die situation. And we've seen this with LeBron James. When his back's on the wall, when he's actually forced to win a championship, he'll get it done. Now, it may happen squeaking 1 or 2 out, like in a Game 7 or such like that. But I see the same scenario with the Lakers. If you're a Clippers fan or someone picking the Clippers come out of the West, I don't blame you. I mean, that's the right move to put. But I just think there's a storyline as well. I think the Lakers will somehow squeak it out, or I don't know what happens. Someone may get sick. Some player may not be able to join. Who knows what happens with this?
Absolutely. LeBron James has pushed the idea of how long a prime can be, but he's 35 years old in year 17. And you're also talking about guys like Dwight Howard, who had a great Renaissance season, but you don't know how long he can keep it up. J.R. Smith, Rajon Rondo, Jared Dudley, Danny Green, go on down this roster. It's an old team, and they're all looking at it like this could be our last best chance to win a championship in our careers.
Yeah, they old, but listen, they got a lot of championship experience and a lot of guys that got chips on their shoulder. We talking about a guy in LeBron James who in year 17 is playing some of his best basketball. We talking about a guy in Anthony Davis who's finally 100% healthy and is ready, and who's also ready to play basketball. The best duo in basketball right now are those 2 guys, and I got full confidence in them. And Howard deciding to come back raises the bar even more, because he was playing exceptional for them, and I think he got it on his mind. He's been to the finals before. Him and Anthony Davis together are the best defensive front line in the league, in my opinion. And now they added J.R. Smith, and I could just imagine with J.R. and Danny Green on the court together, the spacing and how wide open that lane is going to be.
Yeah, the space, but I actually don't like them, Danny Green and J.R. Smith, to start or play at the same time together. Number one, because LeBron James is the quote-unquote point guard. He would always bring up the ball like 80% of the time. Avery Bradley would pick it up like 20%. And now you're forcing, if Avery Bradley's out and J.R. is replacing in that starting role, J.R. Smith will never bring up the ball. He can't dribble as it is. So LeBron James is going to have to bring it up 100% of the time, which LeBron loves to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. But that's going to make the offense for the Lakers very predictable, let alone you're playing in the LeBron James system. So LeBron James in his system, it's not team basketball. It's not hockey assist. It's basically LeBron brings up the ball, and LeBron either will score, or let alone if he passes it to you, you have to shoot. So he gets the assist and the stats when it comes to it. Everything has to be spotlighted on LeBron. He can't play off the ball. I mean, he can, but he just doesn't want to. And mentally, he doesn't want to be there. You'll never see LeBron be off the ball, set some screens, let alone post up or come off any screens for a 3. I mean, whenever LeBron's shooting a 3, anything like it, it's because he's coming off a screen, he's shooting himself, or it's off the dribble. And that's a detriment to LeBron and his legacy. He could have had another championship or 2 if he actually had if he actually played in a team system, trusted his players and coaches. And we've seen there's been over 100 transactions since LeBron's been to LA, to where if coaches being fired, people that have been traded, new signings, or I meant to say from here from Cleveland during that time period. So that's how LeBron is, but I mean, it is what it is. But that's why I think he'll have to squeak out a championship when it comes to his style. But I don't like J.R. Smith and Danny Green at the same time because, again, the offense is very predictable. You're going to need another. I think you need to move LeBron to the 3. I would actually start Rondo. I know they're not going to do that because LeBron has a big ego, but let's see how it plays out. I just think the Lakers' offense is very predictable. I mean, LeBron's going to have to just bring up the ball. Some of these cats will come off the screens. They won't get the best look, but Danny Green as well as J.R. will have to pull it up because there's no other offensive initiators in that starting lineup. But it is what it is. LeBron James goes with that.
Attacking the basket, so I'm excited to see this Laker team.
Yeah, I think,
Well,
no matter how
experience.
superhuman LeBron feels, you're talking about a guy who's in the 17th year in the league. Every day is a gift, and you got to take advantage of it. You can't take it for granted. You can't just assume you'll be fine next year.
Yeah, there's an urgency for the Lakers, mostly on LeBron James and his career and his legacy. But this may be the best chance for the Lakers in their franchise. No one wants to come join and play with them. Anthony Davis was a one-time thing because AD, he's cool being the beta, not an alpha. Pretty much here in Los Angeles as well. And plus, he's signed with Clutch Sports with Rich Paul, so he's looked up to LeBron when he was younger. He thinks of LeBron as, a certain type of way. And we've seen LeBron humble himself because he has to. Because AD can leave in free agency. So that's why LeBron, he has that feminine energy, kind of like a liberal woman. When you have LeBron James, whenever he was the head show, quote unquote, in Cleveland, there's a bunch of anarchy, chaos. Basically, with LeBron, when it came to himself, he wanted what he wanted. He would fire multiple coaches. He would give coaches like Tyronn Lue to go in the hospital for 2 weeks. Because he had all the stress on LeBron. You had all these players felt backstabbed like Kyrie Irving because LeBron was talking about potentially trading him for Paul George. And then as well as players are leaving him, LeBron would trade you. And hey, listen, LeBron's a great basketball player. He's top 5 all time. I like following his game as well. But, we got to be the truth when it comes to it. But now since he's on the Lakers and Anthony Davis joined, we really seen Anthony Davis has held LeBron accountable on defense, let alone their whole team. So a humbled LeBron to where if someone puts him in check, you'll see the most success. Same thing when LeBron was in Miami. Pat Riley put him on check. He told him, no, you're not going to run this. We're not going to get a new coach and leave Eric Spoelstra. You're going to listen to me and pipe down. And LeBron listened. He was humbled. Eric Spoelstra actually pretty much had an offense, a team-centric offense for the Heat. LeBron, it was not his own system when it came to it. Kind of in 2014, it was kind of LeBron's system. But besides that, whenever LeBron's actually humbled, he's put on check, and there's a coaches and let alone owners and general managers pretty much operate a team for him, then we've seen the most success, like with the Heat. But, LeBron's had a lot of freedom. He can do whatever he wants. A lot of yes men's when it comes to people in his surrounding circle and group. Hey, but it is what it is. I just think LeBron has a lot on the table. But, yeah, this is probably going to be his last championship if he does win his career, let alone his last chance to actually be a legitimate contender in that timeline. But, hey, let's see what happens here in a couple months. I actually do have the Lakers winning the championship. I think it's mostly based on storyline, let alone. But we'll see it come around October.